Act 44 put really unrealistic demands on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and we're seeing that come to fruition now with the increasing of tolls year after year. A few years ago, it was reported that there was a decline in heavy truck traffic in some regards to the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Can you tell me if is there still a decline in some areas in the Turnpike in truck traffic?
I don't have the exact number of average daily truck traffic from Pennsylvania Turnpike. I don't think the revenue for Pennsylvania Turnpike has gone down. I'll be glad to get that information from you for you in terms of truck traffic on Pennsylvania Turnpike. I don't have the information right now.
Okay, and we all talked about the need to shift that the state police funding out of the motor license fund and hopefully back into the general fund where it belongs. But with the limited funding that we have right now, how can we better utilize some of those dollars? It's been reported to me by some of the counties and different maintenance departments, not just in PennDOT, but also some of the counties and local municipalities that are doing projects, that the endless cost and review of engineering designs and NPDS studies and everything else, that the cost of the engineering is actually more than the cost of the construction on some of these projects. What can be done to cut that down? I mean, we already know that the Fish and Boat Commission and the Game Commission have endless maps of the state of Pennsylvania identifying where the endangered species or potential endangered species are. Why do we have to continue to spend resources to do NPDS studies when we already have that information? How can the agencies, the DEP, Fish and Boat, Game Commission, Army Corps, better coordinate to cut down on some of these endless engineering designs, because it's just driving up the cost of projects and taking that money off of the roads and just putting it really it's not benefiting Pennsylvanians. Is your department working to cut down on some of those costs?
Yeah, we're actually, I think one of the representatives asked the same question, had the same concern about Representative Struzzi talked about, taking too long to actually push these projects out, and longer, it's more expensive. Now you're mentioning the engineering part. I don't think there is endless cost to the engineering and the design work that's being done. It's basically complying with all the requirements. Anytime we start looking into the project, I tell you, I've been in the business for 30-some years, and I've seen a huge efficiency being created in how we go about projects. We do scoping. We actually bring everybody together. We go and walk the project. We do the scoping of the project. We look at all the environmental sensitive areas, environmental issues around the project. We identify those issues that could actually be a challenge for us while we are pushing the project out. We put action items together on how we're going to address those challenges. I mean, we're trying to be very systematic and very strategic about how we do projects, right? And when you say endless, because there are certain things, NPDES is a big part of our practice right now.
But do you coordinate with those agencies that already have these maps, right? They already have maps across the whole state. Are they releasing, are they giving you that information?
Yes.
Because every time we have a project coming up, we had a project where it's in a potential bog turtle area, and it was delayed. It was a major safety concern, and it was delayed probably for a year until they could finally get the water off the road, and it was an icing situation, several accidents, and yet I was told that they had to do another study. So I'm just wondering how those efficiencies can be better streamlined.
Actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. You just pointed out an issue. You said when there is water, there is icy condition on the road. It shouldn't happen. If it's properly designed, we shouldn't have water on the bridge. We shouldn't have icy condition. We should have proper basin stormwater management that would collect the water. And that's the reason there is some push on NPDES permits. The county conservation districts are looking into these things, because especially going back to the problems we are having on the resiliency, on the storms, on the roadways being flooded, on the bridges being washed, we have to be more cognizant on making sure that we find a way for the water to seep through or catch it in a basin. I mean, again, transportation is in transformation, and even the engineering part is being looked at differently.
And one other cost driver that I hear about all the time is ADA requirements and ADA ramps. I can take you to a place just down the road from where I live where it's all cornfields, but yet there's ADA ramps in every intersection. There's no sidewalks. There never will be. This is farmland. Is there anything that PennDOT can do to push back on some of the ridiculous requirements? I have ADA ramps right down half a block from my district office that every time it rains are constantly underwater. Nobody can utilize them, but yet we have this federal mandate to put them in, and it's driving up the cost of these crucial dollars that we don't have enough of for real projects. Is there anything that you can do to try to make it a little bit more common sense as to how we develop some of these projects?
So we'll be glad to work with you and look at this specific case. But you said there are ADA ramps and there is no sidewalk. So the ADA ramps, is it like curb cut? Or, I mean,
It's a curb cut, yeah.
Okay, we'll be glad to look into it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, they were told they had to put them in, but I just don't know what, if anything, PennDOT can do to push back on some of those ridiculous requirements. Thank you.